Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third day of our FTP on research methodology. We'll be taking up another topic today, and our resource person is already here, Dr. Swasti Vardhan Mishra. He'll be explaining various important topics on quantitative research today. And let me just begin by giving a brief introduction of our resource person today. Dr. Swasti Vardhan Mishra is an academic specializing in urban studies, spatial demography, and critical urban theory. He holds a PhD in urban studies from the University of Calcutta and has developed a strong foundation in quantitative methods, spatial statistics, and GIS applications. He has published extensively in leading international journals, including Habitat International, Urban Climate, Environment and Urbanization Asia, Geoforum, and Economic and Political Weekly. His work covers critical themes such as urban deprivation, subaltern urbanization, cartographic contestation, and municipal service optimization. He has held faculty positions at Rabindra Bharati University, Jadavpur University, and West Bengal State University, contributing to urban geography and policy discourse. He is skilled in using SPSS, R, Stata, ArcGIS, Tableau, and Zotero, facilitating complex spatial and statistical analysis. His editorial contributions include Roles in Frontiers in Sustainable Cities and Frontiers in Sustainable Food Systems. So thank you very much, Dr. Swasti Vardhan, for accepting our invitation to be the resource person for this 5-day FDP on research methodology. We are all looking forward to a very important topic that you are going to cover today. And once again, welcome all the participants to this third day of the 5-day FDP. So I won't take too much of time. So over to you, Dr. Vardhan.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good afternoon to all the participants, and thank you for having me. And thank you for such a wonderful introduction. I'll be thankful to Manisha ma'am, to Sandeep sir, and especially Manish sir for introducing me to this whole bunch of scholars, my colleagues who are presently enrolled in the FDP program. I'll today, before I start the formal presentation, let me just give the brief outline of what I'm supposed to tell today. I'll be starting with what basically is the data, what is the observation, and if the observation is in quantitative terms, what are the tools and how this interaction is possible, the methods, and then we'll move to the ideas of sampling, the basic statistics, and then move on to these two softwares, R and SPSS, explaining that, or it's not kind of a hands-on, but we will be experimenting with the data to see how this basic statistics can be done, or how the statistics or the quantitative thing that we are analyzing, that we are producing, can be shown with the help of beautiful charts. So this is the basic course of this lecture. At the end of the lecture, or even in the middle, since we are all colleagues, I'll be very happy to entertain any question, anything, any debate or a discussion if anybody of you want to. So without wasting much time, let me share my PPT. So is this visible, this whole thing? Is the screen visible to all?
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. So let us start this quantitative research method. What are our basic objectives? Or see, data are of two different kinds. As you know, it can be of multiple types. So basically, we are concerned with the quantitative and the qualitative data. But since we are more interested or more invested in understanding quantitative data, since it is easily available, can be easily procured, and can be analyzed, or can be much more productive in policy research. So what we basically do to produce a quantitative study is prioritizing the data. And before we prioritize data, it is important that how we are going to collect the data that we're supposed to collect. So it needs some good method, and with that method we will be materializing the collection exercise. Then once the data is collected, it needs to be cleaned, it needs to be properly tabulated, it needs to be properly maintained for further analysis with the help of statistical software. And after that we produce interpretations and the analysis which are needed for our own academic publications or policies, or to make our student understand things. So what basically is the data? Data is simply, if you search for the information or the definition of data, you may come across n number of plethora of such definitions. But data, to be precise and for making any layman understand, is the simple observation as we interact with the environment. These two things are very important: the information and the interaction. The information describes our data type, and the interaction dictates our method or the tool that we use. So that environment need not always be outside us. People say that data, as we interact with the environment which is outside us, uska data hame procure karna hai. I'm interacting with say I'm looking at this large board as we enter the university. It shows the PM10 value, the suspended particulate matter, and n number of such data are visible. So that is my interaction with the outside environment. But also, while we introspect and while we look inside us, we also produce some or the other form of data. To be at the very basic level, if we go to a doctor and ask him to just look at whether my pressure is high or my pressure is low, then he or she, the doctor, the physician, gives a definite number. It is 120, 80. This is the lower limit. This one is the upper limit. So that is the data. That is at a very raw sense, and that belongs to us. It is within us. But at the same time, that introspection data is being asked not only by us but also by others. As some of you may be from the discipline of psychology, or in fact not psychology, in most of the social sciences these days, we are asking or looking for the behavioral pattern, the pattern of feelings. We need to judge the pattern of feelings, how you had been feeling since this particular regime has come. Or let us go to the question of America. How do you feel now when Trump has won the presidential election? So he or she would give, what had been your feeling when Trump was about to lose, when he got that news, particularly that Trump is going to lose. So these things are introspective. This is our feelings, but asked by someone else. So this interaction could be outside us as well as could be within us. So this data can be primary, which is the direct interaction, and the secondary, which is the indirect interaction. As we interact primarily with our field, with us, with outside, with the environment, we collect the primary data. And when we look into works of others, or when, for instance, census, NFHS, when these data are being collected by definite bodies and their field experts, so we are not basically directly interacting with the field. We are not directly interacting with the environment. Instead, we are relying upon its collection by someone else. So that is basically a secondary data. So this data, since we are only looking at the quantitative side, qualitative data has primary, in a sense that we can have primary, we can have secondary qualitative data, but the sources are different. We look for archival in case of secondary data, and also and also go for interviews and focus group discussions if you want to have or collect the primary data. Now, the statistical data we collect, or the data or any data we collect, or the observations we make with our as we interact with the environment, they are mostly in social sciences, in practice, are mostly divided into surveys and experiments. In social sciences, we have seen surveys because it takes less time, and also because it gives results which does not need us to have to show some form of causation. Causation means some factors causing some other, that we seldom need to explain while we go for surveys, and they are very easy to collect. So what are the purpose that a survey does? It collects opinions, while experiment establishes causation. When you opinionate about Trump winning, or the federal government winning in India, or the state government winning in India, or a particular urban governance is being challenged, so you give your opinion that no, the roads are not looking good, the public goods not being distributed properly, it brings in some form of inequality. So your opinion, giving your opinion, but in experiment you establish causation, that you establish the whole track or trajectory of the event, how it happened, what are the factors that caused it, and what are the outcomes that we are experiencing. So that is it is very lengthy exercise. Survey uses observational data, while experiment uses manipulated data. We'll look at how the randomized controlled trials, as Abhijit Vinayak Banerjee, the Nobel laureate, and Esther Duflo, they have used RCT, the randomized control trial, which is a true experiment being used in social science. We'll look at the length of time it consumes. So much of time is consumed, and it helps us to manipulate. That we are manipulating one set against the other. Third, control. Survey has a variable control. The variable we selected in survey is administered by us. But in experiment, we can only control the independent variable. Since we are looking for the causality, we cannot decide that this particular factor is causing this. But causality element is not there. With this as a corollary, we come to the other point, the causality survey doesn't establish, which experiment can. Setting, survey is always conducted in an informal setting, while experiment is always done in a controlled environment. In experiment, each and every observation is being controlled, it's being administered, but that does not happen in survey. Example, survey on job satisfaction, an experiment on training impact, that we give one set of our employees a training, while the other set doesn't get a training. So these difference of one set getting the training and the other not will establish one pattern of job in comparison to the other for those who have not got any form of training. So these are the basic differences for experiment. Now coming to the survey research, which concerns us more, is divided into demographic and behavioral. That we are looking at how the behaviors matter, and also the demographic data. Demographic data in the sense that we are used to collecting data on the number of family members you have, what is the educational level, what are the languages you know. These are the demographic data, and they are very straightforward. Not all are straightforward, and not all gives us accurate answers. For instance, if you ask somebody that what is the monthly income of your family, I'm sure that you will never get a good or the perfect answer. So demographic data, easy to collect, not all but most. Then we have attitudinal data. What is your attitude towards a particular event that has occurred? Or for instance, the recent stampedes, or for instance the political violence in West Bengal, or political violence in some parts of Calcutta. what are